Alright, so with the recent reveal of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, I figured I would go through the trailer, take some screenshots. I believe I have 66 here, and we're going to break down what we see, kind of do a bit of an analysis, and I'm going to give my own personal thoughts on what we might see in this game, and whether I think it's good or bad. So we'll start off here with this first picture. Obviously we have a person in real life playing Pokemon Go. I'm not sure who that is anymore because Pokemon Go is basically dead. Of course, there are people still out there, but I don't know anybody that plays it. I certainly don't. But obviously, we're going to have to get back into it, so Nintendo trying to be sly and sneak us back in there. But obviously, the rumors of the tie-in are true. This game is going to have that Pokemon Go integration. So next up, after we go through a bit of a reality scene where we have the trainer or the person going back to their house, Pikachu jumps into the screen and we are greeted with our first look at our protagonist or our hero character, the male version of it at least. Obviously a homage to the trainer that we see in Pokemon Yellow, the game that is the original of this. Obviously this is a remake of Pokemon Yellow, and you see he's got the hat, the black hair, and that's all it is. Pikachu's on his shoulder, and I have to say the quality of the cutscenes in here are just beautiful. So right after that, we see it cut directly to this screen here, which is obviously our trainer right at the beginning of the game. This is clearly Pallet Town, your house right there in the background, and we see our favorite chubby man down there, and we'll continue here. This, our first look at the female protagonist of the game. That was something that was not available in the original Yellow version, if I do remember correctly. So this is something that's great. She's got brown hair, obviously the brown eyes, which is different from the black of our hero. And we'll get a better look at her full clothing later, but she's got kind of a t-shirt and some short jean shorts, I believe. And the way that this trailer kind of goes is the male has Pikachu, female has Eevee, but obviously that's probably not indicative of each game. Here we cut to another scene of her. We can see this Pokemon Center. I believe she's in Pewter City, and we also get to see that Eevee is sitting on the hat of our trainer. Another look at the full body there. You can see her shirt, shorts, tennis shoes, backpack, whole shebang. And like I said, Eevee is placed on the trainer's head, so I'm guessing when you have Eevee or Pikachu in your party, that's where they'll be. There is a scene later on where you still have a Pokemon following you, but Eevee or Pikachu is still out of its Pokeball, and I think that that's going to be an interesting thing to see throughout the game, is having the Pokemon follow you, as well as the continued Eevee or Pikachu with you as well. Next, we have another scene here of the female trainer running. Obviously, we take a look at this, and it is in a place with the notorious boardwalks and the water. This is clearly Vermilion City, and I believe this is the walkway to the SS Anne, which we will have a screenshot of later on in the trailer. Here we see Professor Oak in what appears to be some kind of a cutscene, and this has to be right before you run into the tall grass and Oak tries to stop you, but it appears that he is in a different spot other than coming up from behind you and stopping you. Maybe we see him out here with the Pidgeys, and he will turn around and come and say, hey, don't go out there. You need a Pokemon, come with me in my lab. Next, we cut to another scene in his lab, and we get a good look at Professor Oak, looking crispy and clean, as always, Samuel Oak. And then this was just another picture I kind of liked. Obviously, this is after you receive your Pikachu or your Eevee, and I just liked it. I thought it was a cool shot of you, the trainer, with your Pikachu on your shoulder, looking all fierce-like, about to go on your adventure as a kickin' 10-year-old. This is where we get into more of gameplay kind of showing outside. So the draw of this is that you can play the game with one Joy-Con, so you don't need a whole controller setup. That's kind of how you do the whole throwing thing, is with the Joy-Con, with the kind of integration with Pokemon Go there. But what we can see is we do have the tall grass. However, we get our first look that the Pokemon that you encounter are in the overworld instead of just randomly. So you will randomly have, or not randomly, I just said it's not random, you will have to encounter the Pokemon by walking directly up to them, so you can kind of choose, do I want to get this Rattata, do I want to get this Pidgey, do I get this Weedle, and as we can see here, it jumps into a battle, and it's not actually a battle, so once you encounter a wild Pokemon, you have Get Ready, Items, Help, Run Away, and those are your 4 options for wild Pokemon. So we can see the first deviation from the core games of Pokemon, making this a spin-off. We see that there are no wild Pokemon battles. This is kind of interesting. I'm really curious to see how they make this work, because they're just going to be having... you're basically just playing Pokemon Go at this point. You're throwing items to kind of, I guess, increase your capture rate. I'm not sure what help will do. Maybe that's just kind of like a tutorial thing. And then you get ready, and in this next one you see you throw the Pokeball just like in Pokemon Go. And instead of flicking, you're obviously using the Joy-Con, the motion, what is it, not HD Rumble, but the motion sensors in your Joy-Con to throw the ball, and then you have your grades, your excellence, and that increases your catch rate, I would assume. Here we see it being used in handheld mode. This person is trying to catch a Mankey, just basically the same thing. And this is something that was really crazy to see, is that you can now do 2-player co-op in the game, just straight up local co-op in the game. There's no online, there's no Wi-Fi battles or anything, but you just join the party like that. I'm guessing that you share the main parties, the main characters' Pokemon, like their party, and because we will see that there are still battles in this game, which again I think is kind of an interesting thing to see how they're going to handle that. But we can see here that you have the female, and then the male will join you on your adventure. Next we see them in what could be Mount Moon, obviously running around, and you see all the Pokemon, so there's going to be designated spots where Pokemon will spawn, and if you watch the trailer you can see some of them just kind of popping in and popping out as you go, and so that's kind of how it'll differentiate what Pokemon you see, and you can just kind of walk up to them and initiate the quote-unquote battle. Here you can see that when you are in the co-op mode, you both have the Joy-Cons and you both can throw a Pokeball at the same time, and I'm guessing the more synced you are and the better the throw it is, the higher the capture rate will be. You only get one of the Pokemon you catch, it's not like a double or anything like that. So here is where we get our first look at a battle, and it's still in the co-op mode, so it is treated like a double battle. So we are obviously facing against Bugcatcher Kale, right? And we see this, and the battles look awesome, almost like Pokemon Stadium or XD Gale of Darkness. And we can see the Pikachu is out here with Thundershock, Growl, Quick Attack. So it's your basic move sets and PP, HP, and we can see here that there are experience bars below the HP. I don't know, I'll probably zoom in on that, but that's going to be kind of interesting, because can you only gain experience from trainer battles? And if so, what do you do once you beat all the trainers? Like, how do you grind? How do you level up in this game? Because there are levels, but there's also, as you'll see later, there are CP values for the Pokemon that you catch. It's going to be really interesting to see. Maybe the CP only works with the Pokemon Go aspect, like when you see later we'll be able to transfer the Pokemon to Pokemon Go. Maybe the levels work in the game. I'm not really too sure. But next here we'll see that they also throw out a Bulbasaur, so it's kind of a 2-on-1. A little bit unfair if you ask me. But we're facing off against this Venonat here. And something I really like, just kind of an added thing, is if you look at the moveset on the side there, you can see they've been labeled before as the typing of the move, but I just like the way that it is styled in this, with the leaf for grass types. You have the poison, I'm guessing that's probably like a skull, and then it's just a regular circle for the normal type attacks, which, I don't know, I just think it's a nice little touch to the game. So here is a little sequence that I took of Pikachu using Quick Attack. So we see Pikachu disappears, attacks the Venonat, and comes back. Obviously, it's not doing it justice in screenshot form, so if you guys watch the trailer down below, it's really a sight to see how the battles play out. Next we have Bulbasaur using what I'm assuming is Takedown. It doesn't look like Leech Seed or whatever it was in his moveset before. So, but here we get to the Pokeball, which is, at the end you see is named the Pokeball Plus, and it is basically a Joy-Con that you use with this game specifically. The middle ball is your joystick, and then there's buttons on the top, and you can use it just like a Joy-Con. Obviously here we see the Pokemon getting ready, and you see on the side the trainer has the ball in his hand, using it like a controller, and then you can throw it like Pokeball. Obviously you're not going to throw it itself, but you just more immersive, I guess you could say. And then we can see later that it's used almost like an updated Pokewalker from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But here is where we can see a little bit of a better view of the battles. We see we're facing a Psyduck, and it's level 13 and CP 92. So that's where we can see that both we have levels and CP, so how they get those to intermix in the game is going to be interesting. Like I said, we don't know how that's going to work yet. I'm sure when we see more of this, hopefully at E3, they will give us more of an explanation. Here we have a look at the Pokedex. The kid over here shuffling through. I believe he sees the Psyduck, the Mankey, and then we have a Poliwag here. Just basic Pokedex, you know, showing us your description, height, weight, stuff like that. Nothing terribly new here, just a HD view of it. Here we see where the Pokewalker, or the Pokeball Plus, comes into play basically as a Pokewalker. So when you press start, you can save your progress, you can go back to your adventure, or you can take your Pokemon for a stroll. Basically, like I said, what you did with the Pokewalker back with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And I love the Pokewalker. I thought it was super cool, so this is going to be really fun to play with and see what it does other than just taking your Pokemon for a stroll. Will it have the same effects like back then? You could, I know you're probably not going to be able to battle other trainers with Pokewalkers because that, you know, it had a screen and stuff like that, but will you gain experience? Will you be able to find items that you can transfer to the game? Maybe that's how you increase your CP, kind of, or your experience, is by taking your Pokemon for a stroll. But then here we see, if you watch the trailer, the person actually takes the Pokeball, and you can kind of interact with the Pokemon by shaking the ball or petting it, and I guess there's a speaker in this that will actually kind of give you feedback. You can hear Pikachu kind of do a little bit of a cry. And I am curious to see if this is the game where they do away with the frequency cries that we've all come to know and love, and they put in the I guess real cries, you know, that we hear in this trailer and in like the anime and such. Now here we see that more of the integration with Pokemon Go. There's something called Go Park in the game that you can transfer Pokemon that you catch from Pokemon Go to your Switch to this Go Park. Now how that works, I'm not really sure. Here we can see that it's just sending. Obviously it'll probably do it over Wi-Fi or something like that. But as you can see, you've brought the Dratini over to Go Park. So, and here we can see a picture of what would physically be Go Park in the game. And we can see a Dratini, we can see a Nidoqueen, Charizard, Zapdos. It looks like a Persian way in the background, Onix. And the question is, how does this translate into the game? Are you going to be able to use these Pokemon, take them, and use them in battle? And that's kind of what you do, is you're just constantly looking for Pokemon with higher CP, higher levels out in the world for Pokemon Go, and then you transfer them in and use those in battle. Because this could be kind of OP if we have people that have played Pokemon Go and they have these stockpiled Pokemon, just transfer in a bunch of ridiculously crazy Pokemon, legendaries right off the bat, use them in battle. That seems kind of weird. It takes away a bit of the progression in Pokemon. But again, this probably not again. I believe this is the first time. Game is obviously geared more towards the casual audience for Pokemon, and it'll be very interesting to see how this works. I think this is really cool. It's really cool that you can transfer. You catch the Pokemon and then you transfer them in, and then maybe you do battle with them, and that's kind of what we all wanted with Pokemon Go, was for us to be able to have real Pokemon battles, but that never happened. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Here we can see that it works in the reverse as well. We have the ability to send a present to Pokemon Go, so whether that be like rare candies or Stardusts or the incubators, I guess, for the eggs. Not really sure. It doesn't go into too many specifics about this in this trailer. Here we just have some more really like rapid fire footage of gameplay in this. Here you can see the person is trying to catch a Magmar. Interestingly, there is no we are in the handheld mode, so both Joy-Cons are attached, and it seems that they're throwing the Pokeball. Are we going to have to do it like Pokemon Go with the touchscreen, or is there a way that you can just kind of do it with controllers and just press buttons like a normal game? Not too sure of where that is specifically in the game. I don't remember being able to catch a Magmar in the wild. If anybody knows, leave a comment down below and let me know. Here we see another battle. You can see Pikachu and a Meowth, and I can't tell what they're fighting, but it's a double battle with the co-op again. Where they are, I would put my money on by Cerulean City, or maybe even by Vermilion City. Again, we see the boardwalk here. So here we see the first kind of return of the Poke Ride from Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, riding an Onix here. I'm not sure what HM that would be. Maybe this isn't even Poke Ride. Who knows? This could be you have an Onix follow you and they're just like, hey, get up on its back. I just kind of thought of that just now because I was thinking, what could this be like a replacement for in terms of HMs? And I wasn't too sure, but now that I'm thinking about it, this could just be Poke Ride integration. However it works, you can ride your Pokemon, your Onix, and we can see here the Lapras for Surf, obviously, and then a Charizard, which could be used for Fly. But it would be really cool if it's not actually quote-unquote Poke Ride. If it's just kind of whatever Pokemon you got, you can use that, right? So if I catch a Pidgeot, I can fly on my Pidgeot instead of my Charizard. Here we see in the underground tunnels the two trainers running again in the co-op mode. One person's using the Pokeball Plus, one person using the Joy-Cons, and they have the Nidoqueen and Nidoking running behind them. So there is still, again, showing that the Pokemon can follow you with this game. Also, but we have seen instances where they haven't followed you. So I wonder if there is a way to kind of turn that off. Maybe if you don't want a Pokemon following you, just kind of leave them be. Or maybe it's going to work with the first Pokemon in your party, and so if you put Pikachu or Eevee first in your party, then there won't be somebody following you. Just something to think about there. Another shot of Pokemon following you. This time we see Gengar and Electrode, which is really cool. And then here's kind of where I was thinking things can get out of hand when you see something like this happen. You've brought Moltres over to Go Park. So obviously this person caught a Moltres in Pokemon Go, transferred it over, and now it's in the game. So are they going to be able to use that Pokemon in battle throughout the story of the game? Again, it could lead to something kind of OP. Like, I mean, there's a way to catch Moltres in the game itself, but if you already have one from Pokemon Go, I don't know, it gets kind of dicey there. Here we have our look at what seems to be the return of Pokemon Ami. I believe that's what it's called. Yes, Pokemon Ami. Kind of where you interact with the Pokemon in the game, kind of pet them and give them berries or whatever to help them out. I believe you could heal like status ailments and that, which is really nice. And then we see kind of a bit of rapid fire photos of costumes that you can put on Eevee and Pikachu. So here we have a bow. It looks like my theory is that these are based on the types of trainers you will battle throughout the game. So maybe the bow is for like the last trainer. This could be the Pokemaniac, the police officer. I'm not too sure what this could be. Maybe someone like in the Safari Zone. This could be like your youngster Joey. I like this picture because the expressions on Pikachu. But obviously based off of your trainer itself. And what's really neat is that you can see the way it works is if you look down below, you can actually see that the Pikachu is standing on the trainer's arm. So just a bit more of the immersion instead of going into some menu and just having it happen. It's happening really immersively in the game. Here we see the return of Team Rocket and another bit of battling in the game. So again, there is still an emphasis on Pokemon battles themselves, real Pokemon battles. It's just the way that it's going to work is only against trainers. You know, there's no wild Pokemon battles, and that's kind of the big divisive thing right now with this game, is how that's going to work and how it'll translate into the game and with the Pokemon Go integration. Here we see Pikachu using what is probably either Thunder Shock, Thunderbolt, some electric move. We get a bit of a better look at our male protagonist there, looking real clean with those black sneakers. Here we see it's a battle between, when you watch the trailer, you see Eevee using Swift on this Horsea, and as you can tell, we are clearly on the SS Anne, which is looking beautiful. And then again, we go here into some more rapid fire scenes. So this is obviously us facing off against someone in Team Rocket, and already the trainer has a Dragonite. It's again like Dragonite's a late game Pokemon. How do we get the Dragonite? Is that through the Go Park that we transfer and we can use it straight away in battle? Again, could lead to some weird progression in the game. I'm really curious to see how they balance it out. If you guys have any thoughts on that as well, leave a comment down below. But here we have Dragonite probably using what I'm guessing is Hyper Beam. We have Blastoise using Hydro Pump or something. Arbok using what could probably be Leer. Magikarp, I guess, using Splash. Very, very dramatic splash, I guess you could say. Very cool. Golem using probably Self-Destruct. And then it leads into the big man himself. We see our encounter with Mewtwo. So still keeping everything in there. You can still go into the cave at Cerulean City and challenge Mewtwo. Fighting here, we have this cool scene, and I just kind of wanted to highlight this because of the attention that they're putting to this game, looking at these cutscenes kind of, and you can just, because of the expression on Pikachu's face, you know, like at that shocked look, and your trainer has the, you know, like he's ready to go down. Another shot here, facing off against Mewtwo. And then we kind of go through another reality scene here where we have Pikachu and Eevee kind of jumping out of the screen. They run off, and we get here. These were the logos that were actually leaked before the game's announcement, showing that they are indeed real. Let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee. And then there was this shot here where it says you'll meet a special Pokemon. So you can transfer something into Pokemon Go, and it's going to be this special Pokemon. Shofu, a very well-known YouTuber, did a video talking about this, and he thinks that it's going to be a Gen 8 Pokemon that we will get in Pokemon Go, kind of to hype up the release of the core Pokemon game that is coming out next year that I will talk about probably in a different video. But, well, I think that's a really good theory and a very plausible theory. It says just meet a special Pokemon. It doesn't say anything like a new Pokemon, so may not be a Gen 8 Pokemon. We'll have to see. I don't have any theories myself. I think that's a good one to go on, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then, of course, the big finale, the release date of the game, November 16th. I think that's been kind of the release date for Pokemon games for quite a while now. It's been November, 16th, 18th, something like that. Somewhere in that ballpark. It's always been in November for the past couple of games, and I'm not surprised by this release date at all. I mean, it's awesome that we're seeing it this year. It's awesome that we're getting it in November. If this is coming out in November, we look at other games that are coming out. Are they going to be coming out like Smash, maybe in September, people are saying, with the online service? But that's neither here nor there. Main thing is, this game's coming out then, which is awesome. Only a couple months away, you know, revealed. That's what I like about Pokemon, is they announce it, they have a date for it, and it's never more than 6 months, right? What is that? If it's June or May/June, July, August, September, October, November. So 5-6 months, right? that's how games should be announced and released. You know, you don't want to give it 2 years in advance and then wait 3 years for the game to come out. It's just it takes away hype. Anyways, release date November 16th, 2018, looking crispy. Here we see the Pokeball Plus. Not really getting anything else out of it. You can see the box. It's a Pokeball, a game controller, plus more. Works with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee on the side there. Also works as Pokemon Go Plus. So the little accessory that you get with Pokemon Go, the Pokemon Go Plus, obviously, it will also double as that. So kind of replacing that for you with Pokemon Go. Other than that, there's no other information that we can read from the box, just in multiple languages on the side. There is something in that green box on the side that might say some information, but it's too blurry to read. And then, again, the trailer finishes with the box arts for the game. So, that's all there is going through the entire trailer. Again, I'll leave a link in the description. You can watch it for yourself and see everything. Give me your thoughts on the trailer. I think that this game is going to be really interesting. I don't want to say super awesome because it does have that casual feel, and I'm a more hardcore Pokemon fan. So it'll just be interesting to see how they handle the whole integration of Pokemon Go, taking away wild Pokemon battles, and you know how you do like the level progression and stuff like that. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, and I will see you in the next video.